This is probably the coolest coffee table you have ever seen. And no pun intended on the cool part. Yeah, fresh, crisp Coke before we start this video. You like that? I know I do. This is the LIVTAB LT90 Pro coffee table with a fridge, wireless charging, ports on the side, LED lighting, and even a speaker. This is not your average coffee table. I don't think anyone should just pick one of these up. You know, Betty, who lives with 15 cats, yeah, maybe she could cool her cat treats, but really this is not a practical coffee table for her. This is for people that have man caves or really sick gaming rooms, or maybe a home theater, or even just a living room that demands something this smart and this unique. Let's just quickly run through what this thing does. As you saw, I pulled out a crispy Coke from one of the two fridge drawers built in. This one 65 liters and this one 28 liters, making for 93 liters built in. And each drawer has a different temperature range. It does display in Celsius. Maybe there's a way to change that. I'll be honest, I haven't looked, shame on me. But here on the screen, you can see the different temperature ranges in Fahrenheit for each drawer. It's not just for cans. You could put different size things in here. There are dividers to give this little bucket thing as well. So it's really pretty versatile, especially given the temperature range. And you could also put some food, snacks in here. You wanna put some grapes and apples. And I know some people are like, have you ever had a grape in your life, fatso? No, but seriously, I love grapes, and I would just pop them in here, and while I'm sitting back relaxing, just bam, pull them out, ready to go. You can see right back here, we do have a grill, not, you know, for cooking burgers, but the grill for the speaker. It's a 20-watt speaker. Right here, we have a 15-watt wireless charger. We have our touch control panel right here. And on the left side, we do have two USB-A's and one USB-C port. Along the side where the drawers are, there's an LED strip, which is blue and is music reactive. And of course, when you open up each drawer, it is illuminated. If you leave the drawer open for too long, the color will start to change, letting you know like, hey, remember to close it, you know, so it could stay cool. But that's basically a rundown on everything you need to know about this. Let me just take a quick sip of this. Yeah, something this unique and this cool is definitely gonna cost more than a standard coffee table. You can pick this up right now on Amazon for $700 with a $200 delivery fee. Or you can go on their website for $930 with free shipping. It is not an average coffee table. So before you leave a comment saying, oh my God, I would never spend that much on a coffee table. Okay, it's not meant for you. You're not the target demographic. This thing costs more than my couch. You are not the target demographic. Again, if you have a man cave, a gaming room, a home theater setup, this is something you would splurge on because it fits the atmosphere of the room it would be in. Imagine having the bros over on a Sunday, you're watching 7 hours of commercial-free football, and you're like, dude, who wants a brewski? We don't have to get up. It's like right here. At that point, it feels like the only thing missing is a toilet built into this thing. I also know someone's gonna be out there like, $700? I could go on Facebook Marketplace for $50 and buy myself a mini fridge and have the same experience. Then do it. Again, this is not meant for you. If you're finding ways to cut corners, this is not your coffee table. One of the best things about this coffee table is the fact that it comes pre-assembled. Right now, that is music to my ears. I just moved into this place. That's why it looks like this. And I can't even explain to you how nice it was to just open the box and it was ready to go. It does weigh a lot, I will tell you that, but you literally plop it to where you want it, plug it in, and call it a day. And yes, you do have to plug this in. I know that is shocking for some people, but then again, how would it work if it wasn't plugged in? It is something to consider though, because you will have a random cable coming from your coffee table running to whatever the closest outlet is. And this right here is the little channel that they give you to make it look a little bit prettier. For my setup, I am kind of far from the outlet. We're a little offset from the wall. So I would like to see a longer cable, but really not the end of the world because there are solutions out there. And this will come in clutch for sure. But for some people, the adhesive won't really work because they don't want to use adhesive on their rug. Like in this situation, I'm not going to use that. But it's nice to know that they include this just in case, because it will definitely come in clutch for most people. By the way, this does come in white. However, the top will always be black. And personally, I didn't want that two-tone look, so I just went all black. Hopefully down the road, they do offer more options like some faux wood vinyl along the sides or something to just help it blend into a living space a little more naturally. I think it does a great job at being sleek for a man cave or an office or whatever, but a natural living space it does kind of stick out like a sore thumb. Now that we covered the basics, I'm going to quickly run through my thoughts on this table, and I shared all of my feedback with LIVTAB, and they actually gave me a response, which I thought was super neat. So let's go ahead and do that. The tempered glass is definitely nice. I like the wireless charging and the touch controls being built in. It's very sleek, but man, does this thing attract fingerprints and smudges. And of course, if you have drinks that kind of, leave some residue, the rings around them, you got to stay on top of it more than you would with a normal coffee table. So that's something you should keep in mind. Plus, it's reflective. So at night when it's pitch dark in here and just the TV's on, I can see a reflection, and that sometimes drives me a little nuts. I did ask LIVTAB what they recommend for cleaning, and they said that you should use a soft cloth or alcohol wipes, but you have to be sure to avoid any corrosive cleaners, especially around the touch buttons and wireless charging area, to preserve their functionality. Which is a whole nother thing, like, what if you accidentally do something and the wireless charging stops working? That could be interesting, to say the least. They also recommended a fingerprint resistant screen spray or coating like those used for monitors and touchscreens if you'd like to minimize smudges between cleanings. Speaking of cleaning, during transit they have tape on the drawers to keep them closed. And when you take them off, they should come off 1, 2, 3. Well, I had one piece of tape in particular that did not come off nice and smooth, and it actually left a bunch of residue right under the wireless charger. I told LIVTAB about that, and they said, yeah, that should not have happened, and I can just put some alcohol on a cloth and it'll come right off. But they did say, and I thought this was super neat, is that they updated their packaging materials to prevent this in future shipments. I briefly mentioned the LED lighting. Personally, I am not a fan of this at all. It is super gimmicky because it is only music reactive, and in my opinion, seizure inducing. It's not flattering, it's not fun, it's just awkward and deserves to be off unless they can give it more functionality. And it's only on this side, so it's not like it's a mood light, right? I do love that the drawers are illuminated and it will actually start to change the color if it's been open for too long, but that's really the extent of it. LIVTAB agreed with me, saying that it can feel limited, and they said that their other model, the LT135, actually features customizable color options, and that is something they are considering for future updates to this model. It doesn't need to be fancy, just the ability to change colors and keep it always on or just have it fade a little would be more than enough. Next up is the speaker. Personally, I'm not crazy about it. It doesn't sound amazing. It definitely lacks in the bass department. Their response to that is that it is designed with a balanced sound profile. It doesn't focus on heavy bass like a standalone speaker would. And they made the choice to preserve sound clarity across different media types, but they will consider it for future enhancements. It's not even the bass as much for me as it is the fact that it doesn't get that loud. And for me, if I'm gonna hook my TV up to play out of this, I need it to be loud. Plus, the sound is firing that way, so it just really defeats the purpose in my opinion. I don't think people are buying this for the speaker anyway. Another thing is power. Some people out there are wondering how much would it cost to keep this thing on all the time, because it's a fridge, among other things. Based on the information that LIVTAB provided and the average US electricity rates, it's surprisingly only gonna run about $1.60 per month or about $19 per year, which is pretty on par with a lot of mini fridges out there. So yeah, it's really not that expensive to add this to your setup. As far as noise, it's also very quiet. You don't hear it, obviously I can feel it. Sometimes you'll hear the compressor kick on, but all things considered, it's pretty silent. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that right there is the LIVTAB LT90 Pro smart coffee table. Shout out to them for sending it my way for an honest review and for being open to all the different feedback that I provided. I can't wait to see the changes they make to this thing over time, as well as other models that they release, because seriously, what other companies out there making coffee tables like this? If you are part of that target demographic that wants one of these, I'll leave a link to it down below in the description, and that's gonna do it. Thanks for watching. Don't forget, I'm Matt Philly, you're not. Get it in my face. Have a great day, and I'll catch you on the flippity flop. Toodles.
Thank you for watching Swashin on YouTube. I hope you enjoyed watching. If not, then fuck you. Please hit subscribe because my channel is dead. Jesus Christ, man, that's just really sad.